right. Hey, everyone. Thanks for hopping on tonight's team call. Special time, special person. If you guys don't know Isabelle Daikeler, she is just the smartest and just a great person that I looked up to for so long. I mean, I've been a coach for about 6 years, but she just is influencer of so much information. And of course, she is the co-creator of Shakeology. She has an amazing story to share with us and tons of great information. So that's really all I'm going to say. Nice, short and sweet. Isabelle, thank you so much for hopping on this call with us. We are like all ears. We are so excited to hear from you tonight.
Thank you for that intro. I'm not sure if my son would agree with you. Doesn't think I'm that wise.
Oh,
Nothing like a kid to humble you. He's 9.5, and right now everything I do and say is wrong, and he's always right. And somebody's nodding her head. So I think either has been there or is around kids. But it's exhausting, but I love it. It's very, I really love it. I love because we're so busy being right? It's always so important to be right. And somehow when someone tells us we're not right, some catastrophic event happens internally as if like we got shot by something, and really it's nothing. So when my son keeps doing that, it's an amazing sort of mirror to all of that, and I love it. I love what kids do to us if we just pause and forget to be politically correct and like we're supposed to teach them the right thing to do. But often I'll just look at him and I'll wait and I'm like, how does it feel to be right all the time? Feel good? And he gets so mad. So anyway, that's my intro. But thank you. If I've made you feel good and made sense to you, and if I was able to bring some coherence and bridge some area of your life that may feel incongruent, that's really the key here, going away from being right and wrong, but just trying to figure out what is congruent to your emotional states and your psychological states and your physical states. So if I can help someone sort of be at peace with the fact that it's a little bit jagged, but that's okay. And the jaggedness is the areas that you simply need to look at in order to find out what needs to be tweaked. That's all jaggedness is. And then you get to know yourself as you're sort of discovering these little jagged moments in your life, the behaviors or the thought processes. And so this is how accepting the now and accepting who you are, it doesn't mean you're passive. It doesn't mean you just say, oh, well, it's just the way I am. Accepting that life brings you exactly what you need to have or be confronted with is not being passive at all. It's just accepting that all these little seemingly imperfections about yourself, whether it's your physical, emotional, psychological state, or even your spiritual state, it's the area that require more attention and actually more love, more acceptance, more forgiveness. That's always what I say, like let's say the people that do 80-day obsessions. I, in my heart, pray that these people don't go there to fix how terribly bad they are, how ugly they are unlovable because their body doesn't have a certain shape. I hope that they go there because they understand that their bodies have carried them their whole lives, have dealt with anger and frustration and jealousy and resentment and bad eating and no sleep and stress and terrible events. And it's still there. It's still alive. It still carry you on. So you don't show up to a program like 80-day obsessions to punish yourself, to mold your body and sculpt it as if you're an object that's never, ever good enough. And therefore you'll never, ever be lovable. But because you've already understood how lovable you are, how amazing your body is, and it's a reflection of how amazing you are. And so you go there to take care of yourself, to help it, to nurture it, because you understand how hard it's working and it's always showing up for you. It is you. So that's the angle that I hope the Beachbody platform brings to people. We're not broken. There's nothing wrong with us. And we don't go there to fix ourselves in order to be good enough for whomever and whatever. We go there because we're already good enough and we're finally realizing it. And therefore, we take care of ourselves. And it's the same thing with Shakeology. So that's really profoundly my deeper calling, even on this platform. Always was, no matter what I was doing and what I will do. That journey of mine, which I'll explain a little bit, led me to the profound truthfulness of all that. So we can go in debate who said what, who's right, religious-wise, keto diet, paleo diet, all vegan, vegetarian, eating meat, all that stuff. I don't care. At the end of the day, I just want people to love this incredibly complex, the most intelligent machine there ever was on earth, and understand that it needs taking care of, just like a Ferrari. We have Ferraris, and therefore we can't treat it like it's a pedal 3-year-old car. It requires finesse and love and understanding. And that's what I'm much more into deeply in my heart when I look at my coaches, you guys, when I look at my life, when I look at the platform, when I look at our products, Shakeology, it's never to impose its righteousness on you. It's to share what worked for me. And if it works for me, then perhaps it works for other people. That's all. And I feel that you do the same thing. You try something on for size and it worked for you. And then you share that. That's all. It's not that my shake is the only shake. My shake, I should say, Darren and I and everybody at the Beachbody Labs, our shake is the only shake to have. And our programs are the only programs to do. It's not about that. It's about that's what's working for us. That's what creativity brought us to. We created these things, all of us here at Beachbody, because that's what came through our own lives. That's what worked for us, and let's try to share it, to pay it forward. And it's the same thing with you guys. So that approach and that way of feeling about yourself and that way of sharing all that is shared at Beachbody is really what matters most for your health, I believe, for your well-being. Everything else is antagonistic and oppositional and brings you into a fight, whether it's for yourself or others. So that's my true love. And the shake and all the other products is just one way of sharing that deep desire to bring some congruency, some alignment, and some peace that shows itself in our health. And I know you wanted my background, so that leads me to my early 20s. So I know some of you know my story. I'll try not to go too deep in any area. But again, this is to show that the shake is not a concept in my head that sounded good, some new book that I read and decided to try, see if I can make a shake with my friend Darren and with Mike and Richards and Dana and all the people at Beachbody that are as part of being co-formulators as ever there was people. Without them, Darren and I could not have done such a great job. So what led me to that concept on paper was that in my early 20s, I found myself getting more and more lethargic and less able to be active, to work, to study, to go to school, to take care of my clientele. I got sicker and sicker, and I won't go into detail of it, but it was a 2.5 year decline. And in that decline, I was less and less able to work. So I was losing clientele, getting broke, borrowing money, seeing doctors after doctors, and none of them really knew what was going on. And they, at the end of my journey with Western medicine, I was given antidepressant, which I think I took 1 or 2 pills, and it, actually not even 2, flipped me out. It's like it was too weird for me, and realized that at the end of the day, I should be depressed. If I was not depressed, I was insane because I was scared out of my mind. At that point, I was super broke, had borrowed hundreds of thousands of dollars on my credit card, could not finish my schooling, stayed home in my bed more and more because it came to a point where I could not even step into my doorway and open the door. I collapsed and I cried there for hours. Then I crawl into my house, into my place. So this not being well is something that I lived. This being broke, I understand. Being scared out of my mind, I understand. And not finding any solution, feeling like I'm desperately at the end of my rope because there's nowhere to go. The abyss, I got that. I lived it, which is fantastic because now when I talk to people, I can relate to so much. I do not speak again from an intellectual place, but a real having been there place. So that moment led me to how do others, not the Western, but the more alternative way of thinking about well-being, health, how do they deal with health? Because this is not working. P.S. That doesn't mean that all Western medicine is bad, that it doesn't have great use, that I have not actually at some time in my life greatly needed it, had surgery. Thank God it exists. So I'm not vilifying it. I'm saying there's a place in life where you can preempt a lot. You can be proactive in many ways before you end up there. So that led me to turn 180 degree and look at Ayurvedic medicine, Eastern medicine, acupuncture, acupressure, emotional, energetic medicine, but herbs, adaptogen, mushrooms, and plants, roots, cooking roots, finding extractions. I had to do everything on my own. It was not, it was very rudimentary because I didn't have the money to buy anything. Finding souls that understood where I was at and took the time to educate me and to give me stuff for free or sell it very cheap, especially their time and their compassion. And slowly through cooking herbs, roots, to changing my diet 100%, I thought I was healthy. I was not a person who ate McDonald's. I wasn't raised like that, or Twinkies. I didn't drink coffee. So I was not, that bad. And yet it wasn't working. There was so much more for me to uncover there. So nutrition, herbs, plants, adaptogens, the microbiome of my gut health, that was huge for me. That's something that I started studying back then where it wasn't really talked about. And of course, emotional and psychological impact on my physical well-being, which was not that hip back in those days, organic, potency, non-GMO, all these things which were really not hip and sexy back in those days are the things I was introduced to. And I started incorporating and got well, all the way well. And it changed my life because right there and then I started incorporating shakes. So of course, all these potions that I was making in my apartment were terrible tasting, bitter, astringent, just potent. And I knew my clients would not want to ingest these. You take that stuff when you're really, really ill. You'll take anything. But when you get people before they get to that place, they need to like it so they can reach for it. So this is when I started making shakes. So I made shake, and that was way back then. It started being part of my protocol. I would, meet people and try to figure out what was missing. And way back then, the concept of a shake that was about the missing links began. So each person I would look at the missing links in their diet and try to, in a shake, incorporate as much as I could so that if anything else, at least I knew they had that one meal, that one place where they got some of what they were missing. As I started doing that, I noticed common denominators, which are very intuitive and logical, but didn't dawn on me back in those days as acutely. So I realized, wait a second, there are missing links that are common to all of these people. And I was dealing with all sorts of people, from a mother who just gave birth to an athlete at the Olympics. So the missing links concept for a shake also began there. And these missing links were very simple. Your microbiome, so fiber, probiotic, digestive enzymes, good balance of carbs and protein, vegetables, super fruits, super greens, enzymes, drinking good water, potency and cleanliness of what I was getting for them. All these things started lining up, and I would try to incorporate as much as I could in a shake. So cut to when I started living with Carl, and Carl saw me do that for my client, for my son, for him, because he had a lot of missing links. And this is when he started to ask me if I could create something for for the Beachbody platform. I had done a few shakes for companies. He knew that. It took me a while to accept, because most companies, when the money started coming in, they would ask me to compromise on the quality because the margin were not wide enough. So it was a big deal for me, like I say to most of my calls, because I was married to that particular CEO. So if he was going to disappoint me and piss me off, I couldn't just walk out. I lived with him. I love him very much. Don't want to set myself up. So it was a really important talk that he understood that he could never ask me to compromise it. And he's never done that. The margin are very slim. But it's the best that we can create as of now. So that's the birth of Shakeology. And then, of course, I needed great help. I met Darren. Couldn't find a better partner that had, strength that I didn't have. I'm not going to travel all around the world when I just had a kid. And then Carl, we started to become more and more sophisticated with the lab coats that we needed. They're the one who can really put 60 plus ingredients that really don't taste good at all together and find a way to make it work, and understand the delicate processes that needs to be involved with each different plant or vegetable or antioxidant fruits, all these things, how to extract what we do want but not have what we don't want, all these a delicate way of doing that. These guys perform. It got better and better over the years. And that was the birth of the Shakeology. So I know Darren has a story. So the shake is really not created out of a concept in our heads. It proved itself to work for us. And we try to bring these missing links in the Shakeology. Shakeology is not a protein drink. I don't know where that started. It just isn't. It has a very good amount of protein, very clean, highly digestible protein, bioavailable. But because it's part of the balance that we want. But that was not the goal. The goal was those missing links that I discovered 30 years ago. Most of us were not getting enough of. Even when we knew about them, we still didn't have enough of it. So if I was to call the shake anything else, it would be the missing links. That's what the shake is about. Our super fruit, our super green, antioxidants, phytonutrients, our fiber, our good carbs, protein, fat balance, our gut health elements, the microbiome, taking care of with our enzymes and probiotic and our fibers. That's what it's about. Not about worrying that you're not getting enough protein. I think in America, we're good when it comes to protein. We're not missing any. So hopefully I clarified the reason and the purpose and the why of the Shakeology, just a way of sharing what worked for us, and what the shake is not. It's not just a protein drink. That's a lot cheaper to make and a lot easier. The shake is very complex, and it's all that you could, the perfect meal that you should have 3 times a day at least. We're trying to figure out a way to put that in one little scoop. Okay, I'll stop here and I'll let you take it from there. Yeah.
Oh boy. Well, who has any, I don't remember off the top of my head what the questions we asked were.
I have them somewhere here if you want me to look.
Yeah.
But if you have any questions from what I've said, please raise your hand and ask me.
Yeah, if you guys want to unmute yourselves, or you can definitely type in the chat so we can maybe make this a little bit more specific to the people who are on live. That would be awesome.
Otherwise, go ahead. Is there someone?
No, I don't. I said, don't
Okay.
be shy. This is a once in a lifetime
I don't
opportunity.
even see you guys, so it's anonymous.
I know, right?
Okay, so I know that my background, that was question number one, so I did that. And this is why I came to make the Shakeology call, asked me, and I did it with my help, Darren. I don't want to say that. It's so hard sometimes. The words always make it sound wrong, but not my help. It's pure collaboration. So, two, why are the carbs in shakes good versus keto lifestyle? Those are the kind of questions that I don't really get into. I'm not here to tell you that a keto lifestyle is not okay, that you're wrong for not wanting carbs. That's a very personal decision. Like I said, now that you know my story, um, going on a keto lifestyle is not what made me well. It's not a story that I'm acquainted with. It's not what helped me. Um, I wasn't led there in my life, and it's just not my purpose here. So for me, balance, congruency, um, these missing links, that's what I discovered in my life. That's what got me healthy, and that's what I'm sharing. So I don't compare those systems. I just say that it was a choice, that the shake was not about eliminating food groups. I think anyone who's been at the Beachbody family for a while, you understand that it was a position we took, that we are not big on eliminating a whole food group. Um, you can always utilize our stuff and change it, tweak it to your desire. But that's the position we decided to take. We wanted balance, and we wanted to find what was healthy in each food group. And we wanted mostly potency, cleanliness, none of the stuff that we all try to avoid nowadays: herbicide, pesticide, dead food. So that's a position. That's what we do. And then if you think keto is good, then you do keto, and I'm okay with that. But the shake is not keto. It has some good carbs in there, and it's just what worked for us. It's just the position we wanted to take, and people are welcome to test drive whatever the system. I'm all good with that. All right, so that was two. Three, why should we drink Shakeology every day? Again, I'm not here to tell you should. I'm here to say that the reason why we decided to help people to be 365, it's because the missing links ingredients, the ingredients in the shake are the ingredients that are meant to be ingested every day. So we all know that you don't eat a salad on Monday for lunch and say, I'm good for the week, I have done it. Or drink water on Monday, but skip Wednesday, Thursday, Friday because you did it on Monday. There's certain elements that we know, all of us, like not just us Beachbody, but you go anywhere on the web and you research, and phytonutrients, antioxidants, fiber, the gut health, carbs, protein, a certain balance of the macronutrients is very important as well to help with cravings, things like that. Again, we can go into debate here, but really we feel that this is like a salad, like the best salad you could ever make, with your protein and all the good stuff in there. Do you think you can eat a salad once a day and be good? Of course not. This Ferrari of yours require these elements several times a day and every day. This is why even with my son, I'm always saying at a birthday party, because I'm really one of those people that really don't understand that celebration or show of love has to come with chemicals and preservative and dye and high doses of sugar. That's terrible for their health. Like, I just don't get it, that we are okay with that nowadays, that we know how not okay it is. So I say to my son, I will not stop you. You go to town, but you have to understand that your body doesn't care that it's Katie's birthday. Your body will not do well with these chemicals in its body, whether you're on vacation or it's a weekdays or it's a birthday. So as long as you get that, you indulge whatever you feel is appropriate, but get that. So to me, it's the same reason. We say that because most people don't eat that way. None of us are perfect. So we're trying to sort of like an insurance. Well, at least in that scoop, once a day, people will have a good delivery, a very important element that they need to be healthy every day. At least in that scoop. We'll do our best to promote that. And of course, Beachbody is big on eating healthy. So we have all these programs and all these different ways of eating. And we encourage that because we're not saying don't move, don't eat healthy, just drink the shake. We never say that. We say drink the shake, try to eat as healthy as you can, and please, please, please move. Because we all agree that that's the major key components of healthy lifestyle, healthy living. So that's why we say eating it every day, just because it makes sense, doesn't it? It's a real question. Like, does it make sense? But if you feel like you're a person who's got it down and every day is a perfect day, then you make your own decision. I know I don't. Like, I'm terrible sometimes for drinking water, and that's a big one. So here you go. Cheers. All right, question number 4. Is there a question or something regarding what I just answered?
I don't think so. I do have a question that somebody shot over to me. Not sure if you could help to answer this or if you had any collaboration with the beach bars that are coming out soon.
No, I don't. That's not my. I'm the ultimate line. That's there in a nice line.
Okay.
So I don't really have anything to do with the other lines. Sorry.
Okay, all good.
I have a question, actually.
Oh, good.
Hi, Isabelle. This is Shane. Thank you so much for being here with us today. I do have a question for that person, that really is diligent with their eating habits. They truly try to eat everything that they feel their body needs. What would you say is that one thing or those 2 things that truly are near impossible to get that can be delivered with our product?
To me, it would be the microbiome, meaning all the probiotic, prebiotic, digestive enzymes in our fiber. To me, the microbiome, the ability, the body's ability to process, extract, digest, assimilate, utilize the nutrients from the food is a big one. So to me, that's a special one. It's one that's very difficult to get in food because the food is just not what it used to be. We don't pick it from the tree. It's not pure, alive, and perfect. That's the challenge we have with, this is what I meant by my story, to go back in order to answer your question, is that I was like that. I was quite healthy, meaning I ate my salad. I was vegetarian most of my 30-something years, not because of an ideology whatsoever. I just never liked it. So as soon as I left home around 16 and I moved to Paris, naturally, without even thinking about it, I stopped eating any kind of meat. So it was just, for me, it was just that's how I like to eat. I ate all my good stuff, and yet I got to where I got. And it's over time, this is when I discovered, unfortunately, that the soil is compromised. The air is so not what we used to breathe. That's a fact, which is, daunting. And the way that things are manufactured and processed and grown is just not what it used to be. So unfortunately, and again, you can Google that all over the place and really go deep in that search if you want. The fruit, vegetable, legumes, all that is not as potent as it used to be, which is one of the things that is costing us a fortune at Beachbody, is we travel all around the world to find things sometimes that we should be able to find right here in the United States. But we test and we test, and the results are very poor. And so sometimes we have to go to Switzerland, Madagascar, all over Europe. Anyway, that's another line of discussion. But this is one of the things that we have such a hard time to find clean, potent ingredients. It's very challenging. The soil is really depleted. A lot of things grow open pods, and therefore, even if the soil is organic, the air isn't. It absorbs all the pollution in the air. This is why getting things from China is just not okay anymore. So this is part of why it's costing us so much money. And this is why the shake is not cheap. It's one of the reasons why the shake is not cheap, because we can't go around the United States, get our stuff. We can't. It just doesn't pan out. When we do our test, it's terrible. So the idea that we can trust, and I really dislike saying that, but I'm quite a realist. But the food is not what it used to be. So you don't get from it what you used to get from it 100 years ago. So not. So that's a problem. You could test everything you eat. You could figure it out for yourself. I don't know. I'm not trying to convince anybody. I really am not. But I did live that. I did live being quite disturbed because I ate well, and then I wasn't well. And then I found out how I have to look for organic, and on, the beginning of my journey. The things that we insist on right now at Beachbody are the things that I started discovering way back then, and it got a lot worse since. At the same time, those things getting quite dark on the horizon also gave power and birth to many farmers, many people like us, fighting for cleanliness and potency and natural way of growing things. So, one brings the other. But that's what I would discuss with these people if they were challenging me that way. That being said, if they feel they're fine and they really think they're perfect and they don't want to have the shake, then don't push the shake on them. But they're on the phone with you for a reason. Why? So I would investigate. I would really listen and investigate. Like, so why are you on the phone with me? What is it that's not working in your life? What is it that you're not feeling is ultimate in your well-being? What can I help you with that we have? If the food is not a thing, where do you think your challenges come from? And how can I help you? Let's talk and let's try to figure it out. There's much more than the shake on the platform. So the sport line might be their thing, or purely workouts, or, on and on it goes. That's how I would do it, again, because I'm not a forceful person, but I would investigate. I love to go deep, because if someone is on the phone with you or there with you, on a Zoom call, there's a reason. They're looking for something. So try to find out what that something is, and see if you have it in your tools. And if you don't, you don't. You wish them the best, and good luck. I hope you find what you need. That's how I go about it. Doesn't mean it's right for you, but does that make sense, Shane?
Yes, thank you so much.
You're welcome. I can't see your face, but there's a big Shane on my screen. No face.
That was excellent. Isabelle, we do have a question about Daily Sunshine.
Oh, yay!
Difference, and why is it for kids?
I love my Daily Sunshine. People have a hard time to get it, and Carl took 6 years before letting me do that shake. Parents kept asking me for it, so it was very interesting for me to go through 6 years of hundreds of parents, mothers, asking me for something like that, and then I get hundreds of mothers asking me what's the point. So I was like, I'm confused. But I'm very excited for it. So basically, the common denominator between Shakeology and the Daily Sunshine is whole food. It's all based on whole food, cleanliness, potency, non-GMO, tested, going through the same rigorous system as Shakeology. Of course, it's the same people behind it. But the reason why I really wanted to design this was because we did research and we found out that kids don't get any. This is where I'm like, sometimes when people say we eat perfect, and I see millions of kids that are not, they're barely eating what's the minimum of what's necessary, barely, most of them don't. I'm like, there's a missing piece there, because all these kids are not getting what they need at all to grow healthy and strong, and I'm being told that food alone is good. So something is missing there. But the way kids eat, at least in America, is horrible. And I think the UK also has proven to be like that. It's I was horrified. I knew it, but I didn't see all the data. It is true that most kids' vegetable comes from ketchup. This is no joke. It's very, very sad. Kids growing up on fast food is real. On eating mac and cheese, a Coke, and a muffin is the reality. It's not good. And it horrified me. And then there's the other spectrum where you do your best as a mother, and most kids don't want any of the stuff that they need. That's the stuff. It will fight you every single day, 3 to 6 times a day. It's exhausting. So I got a super duper picky eater. Thank you, Dad. And I swear I prayed. It was in my belly, and I prayed and I prayed. And God has a great sense of humor. But he's my inspiration, right? So it's good. But he also is allergic to gluten, sensitive to dairy, hypoglycemic, just like I. So I had all these extra things as well to watch out for. And yet, as opposed to me, he doesn't like fruits, most fruits, just a few, doesn't like to see his veggies, all that stuff. And the more I started talking to mothers in depth as I was researching for this product, the more I realized, oh my God, like even if you've got the stuff at home, trying to get it down their throat is impossible. And then you're working, and then you have to drop them at school, and on the challenges add. So my goal with the Daily Sunshine is very different than the Shakeology. It's to give them the fundamental building blocks of growing healthy, the very basic stuff that every child requires to grow strong and healthy. And those very elements are not being eaten by our kids. They're just not. Some of you are lucky. Somebody that tells me their kids love broccoli, and she can just, give it to him raw in a beautiful big salad. So not my kid. And I know I'm not alone. So that was the goal. What do they need? 4 years and up, because below 4 years, they're toddler. So they have different nutrients requirements. So I was focusing on 4 years and up and trying to figure out what do they need, no matter where they come from, what do they need? So it was the Daily Sunshine, is whole food, and I wanted simple. I wanted every parent to feel totally safe, recognize every element in the shake, so that there's no scary words in there, that the pediatrician know every element, every ingredient in the shake. They don't go like, oh my God, I don't know what ashwagandha is. So I wanted simple, I wanted loaded with our fruits, our vegetables, our protein, our fat, and our fiber, and some enzymes for good luck's sake. So that's what the Shake Daily Sunshine is. It's really geared toward these little bodies that need to grow strong and healthy. Now, I had many sub goals in there, but those are not the ones that marketing could step into and really own. But I had also helping mothers, especially when I see how many mothers have 2, 3 kids, have a job. And then if you have a kid that's giving you a hard time, it's late, you gotta go, you don't have time, throws the eggs on the floor, whatever, right? There's so much stuff that happens that they could feel good, that you could just give them, any liquid at the school will be fine. Scoop of Daily Sunshine, the little shaker, give it to them, they're good, whether they're drinking on the way there, whether, how at some school you have 20 minutes to eat, it's insane. If they don't have time to eat their full lunch, you give them a Daily Sunshine, at least they've got the fundamentals they need. It satiates them. It's also a way to give them all those elements that they fight you for in a way that they reach for and ask for. So I made sure it was delicious. We tested it. So that most kids would like one of the flavors, so they would want it. I made the little shakers that would be fun, so they felt like grown up. They could make their own shake. All that stuff was also thinking of mothers, trying to help them be a little saner day to day. One fight less. Like very often, my kids really just want pasta. And I don't like to give him just pasta because it's a rush of sugar, right? There's no balance. But if I give him the Daily Sunshine first, which he thinks he's winning on both ends, I know that he's getting something that will help stabilize his blood sugar. I feel better about the pasta. If he's sick, I've noticed that, they don't have an appetite. It takes a while for them to eat, and yet they need some food to get stronger if they've been sick or if they're feeling funky and food doesn't really go down. Most of them will do well with Daily Sunshine. I was also thinking of autistic kids. I've worked with a lot of them. They're very picky with smell, texture, color, and I am blown away. I've gotten hundreds of responses from mothers with autistic kids or on the spectrum, and that said, oh my God, for the first time my kids is loving that stuff, and it's really helping with the nutrition side of affairs. So that's all the little purpose on the side of the Daily Sunshine. Does that make sense? Do you see the difference?
I have a question for you. So you said it's for kids 4 and up. Well, I have a 1-year-old and a 3-year-old, and I usually give them Shakeology. Is that, should I be giving them Sunshine, or are they too young to be drinking both?
Well, there's a whole legal thing that I have to watch out here. So basically, the Shakeology is not designed for young kids. Now, I can say that we have thousands of young kids drinking Shakeology, but it's not designed for them. It's designed for adults, as opposed to the Daily Sunshine is designed for 4 years and up, and it's whole food. So legally, I'm saying we've focused on the nutritional needs of 4 years and up, but it's food. It's really just pure, simple food. So you can bring the shake to your pediatrician, or you can read and make your own decision if your kids can drink it, even though they're not 4. Now, if you feel comfortable giving them Shakeology, you probably will have no problem with Daily Sunshine. Shakeology has herbs, adaptogen herbs. It's more complex of a formula. So I've noticed most kids don't drink the whole 8 ounces at that age. They'll drink some. So they don't get the full benefit of the whole shake. Now, some doctors will say, well, we don't want the whole shake because it was not designed for kids. So this is why legally, when it comes to the Shakeology, the same way that when I'm asked about pregnancy and post-pregnancy, legally I have to say, you have to bring the bag to your pediatrician and make your own decision. That's the rule. So I have to say that, and then I can add that I had it while being pregnant. I had it while I was breastfeeding for 3.5 years. So I can tell you my personal experience, I did no problem, but legally I have to say, bring the bag to your pediatrician or your doctor, or make your own decision as a mother. Just because of all the complexity of the Shakeology, and just because the Daily Sunshine was legally designed for 4 years old and older. So it becomes tricky as you get bigger and bigger at a company. There's things that Darren and I used to say that we really can't say anymore. We grew bigger, and now there's all sorts of things that I understand. We have to be very careful. And I get it. I get the wisdom of that. So when it comes to doing something that is not part of the guideline, then you have to take responsibility and decide for your own and bring it to your doctor, and together you decide, or Google all the ingredients, research them, and see if you feel comfortable with them. I know it's frustrating, but that's all I can't go any deeper.
No, that was perfect. Thank you so much.
I did have one other question. I think you kind of summed it up with what you've been saying, but in a few words, how can you best describe Shakeology and Daily Sunshine? Like, if you had to maybe give
for me, Missing Links Shakeology, that's it for me. That's what I had in mind the entire time that me, Darren, and the gang were designing it. The missing links. What is the missing in most of our diets, most of us? What is good for every body on earth? Elements that our bodies recognize and are designed to ingest. And the missing links, the things that are more and more challenging to get nowadays. That's it for me for Shakeology. I think Carl says the healthiest meal of the day. So this is it. That's another sentence that you can use. Everything is in these 2 sentences. That's our purpose. This is what we believe in Shakeology. The Daily Sunshine, I'm not marketing whiz, and most of my training and most of the things I've done in career-wise has never been Isabelle is the master at one-liners. I am not. I go deep, I go long, I investigate, I like to chat with people. I like to go deep. So this one-liner thing, if I had Carl next to me, it would pop 3 for you. So you can go to him if you really want that. That's not really my forte, so don't come to me for that. The Daily Sunshine, the building blocks for a healthy foundation for growing bodies. That's what I would say. The necessary building block needed for a healthy foundation for growing bodies. Does that make sense? Maybe I'm learning.
Totally makes sense. Do we have time for one more question?
Yes, I think we have plenty of time. We have, 12 minutes or so. I think we have 2 more left, I think, that you sent me, but hit me with whatever you want.
Anybody else want to step up and unmute yourself? All right, we got silence. So let's maybe go with those last 2 questions.
Okay. So how to live a sustainably healthy, I think 6 was pretty much answer. I would love her feedback on my doctor doesn't believe in shake rebutals. I don't know what shake rebutals are. Like why we need it or something like that?
Yeah, like why they go against it, I guess.
Or even during pregnancy or nursing. So I can't speak on pregnancy and nursing, which is, I totally get doctors. A lot of these doctors, I think we talk about it more and more now that doctors really don't have any nutrition background. They have 1 class, I think, in 4 years of study. So nutrition is not their thing. So, ashwagandha, astragalus, holy basil, all these things, they don't really even know about them. So asking them to recommend something that they don't know would be silly. I get them. They don't know. It's the unknown world for them, and therefore they don't feel safe recommending it, and I don't blame them. So, rebutals, everything I've just said on this call is really what I believe about the shake. Doctors have most doctors have a very different way of looking at ailments. Like I said, this is where I came from in my story. So it was a symptoms in a drug, a symptoms in a drug, a symptoms in a drug. It was not, let's look at the whole body. Let's look at your emotional state. Let's look at what brought you to this moment, and let's see how we can bring all that in balance. That's not what they do. They look at a symptom and they give you something for the symptoms. It's not their job to dig deeper than that. That's what they're good at. And at times it's necessary in life. Asking them to be something else, to me, is unfair. That's what I realized back in my days. If I need that, or if I need a surgery, if I broke an arm, I'm not going to go to an acupuncturist. Trust me. I'm going to go to someone who can put my back on, my arm back on. If I need hip replacement, I'm not going to a naturopath. So, it's really about us, the wisdom of what we know about ourselves and what we need, and going in the right place. So if somebody really doesn't understand any of the stuff I've discussed today, then they just don't, and that's okay. Then it's up to the person to own their lives and decide, like, what part of what the doctor says makes sense to me, what part of what the shake says to me, how does it speak to me, does it make sense to me, and you reconcile yourself. This is what I do in my life every day. I investigated many diets in my days. I did it all. I did all the kind of colonics and ozone therapy and macrobiotic, and I investigated all sorts of things. I mean, I did water fast for a month, and I checked it all out. And I had no problem with it. But I looked like this, and eventually it was time to stop. But at some point for me, as I investigated, now I'm in a place, and that's the beauty of being honest with yourself, of trying different programs. I'm not even talking about our programs, whether it's exercise or food or shakes, investigating and paying attention to how your own body reacts to things, what works and what doesn't work. That's why I love the 21-day reset, because it really brings you back to a neutral place, and then you reintroduce the food, and you can really check out how your body reacts to food that you didn't even know you had sensitivities to. So to sort of rediscover your body, what it's talking, what it's saying to you, because we keep saying the body is wise, but we keep implementing and forcing concept on it, whether they're intellectual or appealing to our senses. So at some point for me, the beauty of such a long journey is I'm at a place now where I don't need a diet. Every day I get up and I just pay attention. If I'm very hungry, one morning I eat a very good, fulfilling breakfast. And then the next day I may be good on fruits. And I totally trust that. And so for me, I cannot do any of the diets because it doesn't work. I'm so in tune now that the body is wise is very real. I'm really listening and I'm catering to it. If you crave Twinkies, this is not the wisdom of your body talking. And you don't need a PhD to know that. If your body tells you not to do anything, any movement whatsoever, it's not wisdom. That's something that's emotional pain that's speaking to you. So the purpose of investigating all these programs, all these diets, to me, is to get you in touch with the many possibilities and to clean up the levels of emotional debris that I've accumulated to the decades. You were not born craving Twinkies or McDonald's, and you were not born not wanting to move. It's the opposite. We would eat dirt as kids. We investigated all, and we moved all the time. And so it's not that our bodies are not designed to know exactly what it needs to do or what it needs to eat. It's because emotions, event, conditioning, society, wounds, fear started lining up and veiling your ability to be in touch with the truth of what your body tells you. It never lies. So even when it's craving doing nothing, hiding and hibernating in depression, even if it's craving bad food you know is bad for you, overeating, undereating, all that stuff, even that, it's your body screaming for help and love. It is wise even in how it's misguiding you, because you're smart enough, anyone is, to see that is not cool. That is not, what is it telling me? What's going on, right? So no matter how it's acting out, it's still trying to lead you in the right place, showing you where you need to tweak and clean up. And all that we clean up really at the end of the day is psychological and emotional debris, leftovers of event that got us scared or wounded. And it's our job to look at that and drop the weight slowly but surely. So as you learn to do that, you go on different diet, you go on different workout programs, you do the best that you can to get you in a place that you need to be at, in order to let go of these emotional debris that are not allowing you to take care of yourself. And this is the beauty of tons of programs. I don't even know how many we have, or different kind of diets, for you to find yourself there, but also not to limit yourself. So if suddenly you're in the mood for yoga, by all means, spend 3 months doing yoga. You want to go hardcore? Go 80-day obsession. You need to chill out a little bit, do something else. So it's to allow the flexibility and the inner monologue of your body, letting you know where you need to go next, and having enough choices to be your own best formulator on all levels. So this is why I don't fight people. I don't try to tell them the right and wrong. I don't care to tell you 40, 30, 30, or keto, or vegan, or meat eater. It's not my job to know you 100%. It's my job to know me. That's my job. And then what I try to do with everybody at Beachbody is to provide you with as much freedom of choices as possible, that you can find yourself in it. That's all. so that eventually there's no need to count calories. There's no need to see food and exercise as the enemy. A deep inner joy, inner love, it's the truth, really caring and loving thyself, that then you gravitate toward what is needed on a moment-to-moment basis, and you enjoy it. So does that make sense? I think that was all our questions.
Hey, I wanted to ask a question. Hi. So I love Shakeology, and I've been drinking it for over 6 years, and I am a huge fan of the reset and the refresh, and I know you just touched on that.
Thank you for mentioning my best friend.
Well, honestly, I have I suffered from a lot of digestive issues, and I do the reset to keep myself on track because of my digestive system, and it's incredible, an incredible product, and as is the refresh. So I would love, because I know there's a lot of new coaches on here, if you would just touch on, I know you touched a little bit on the reset, but on the refresh as well, and like how often you recommend it, because those are probably my most favorite products.
Thank you for saying that. I do love them. They're not glamorous and we don't really talk about them, but God, they're so useful. Nothing was created on the Ultimate line that didn't have a deep desire to fix challenges that many seem to face. So it was not just, what can we design now? It's about, look, there's a need there. Let's see if I can help. This is how Darren and I proceed about all these products. So the 3-day refresh is amazing because to me it was it's like a quick way to get you back on track. You had a terrible binging kind of weekend. 3-day refresh, get yourself back on track, clean up your food, but very guided with a system that will make sure that you are still eating healthy and giving your body enough to be well. Continue doing your workout, your hectic lifestyle. So whether it's an event that you're trying to get in shape for or look better for, or whether your system is off, you've been drinking too much, overindulging in whatever way, or you just feel off, it's a way to de-stress your system, have a cleaner, more simplified way of eating, and yet catering to all the basic needs that are vital so that you can continue doing your workout, as opposed to the 21-day reset is more intense. And I highly advise really not to work out when you do the system. The 3-day refresh, you can go on with your life, and yet it's a quick way to get back in there, to get back on track, really. It's fantastic. It's simple. It's delicious. It makes a lot of sense, and everybody that tries it feels a difference. It works. It really does. And it came about because Carl was all excited. He saw that a lot of coaches were drinking the Shakeology 3 times a day in order to lose weight quickly. And he was all thrilled. He was all proud. And he turned to me, and once again, I popped this bubble. And I'm like, that's not okay. And he was like, what do you mean that's not okay? And I was like, it wasn't designed for that. It's not designed for people not to eat at all and just drink the shake 3 times a day. It's not designed for that. I don't like that. And he said, well, then if you don't like it, could you create something to allow them to do that? Because thousands of them do it. This is why I went into the 3-day refresh, to try to fill that void. The 21-day reset is really about rediscovering your body from scratch. So it will, by process of elimination, you will go from your regular diet. You're going to eliminate meat, fish, beans, legume, nuts. You're going to go all the way down to fruit and vegetables. And as you do that, you will have product that will help balance, clean, alkalinize, detox, let go. Just try to clean up your digestive tract, and also eliminate heavy food that are harder to digest or that may have created havoc in your system, but you don't even know because you've had them for so long, you don't even realize that kind of food is the culprit. So you go down to the very basic, And then when you're done with it, you then reintroduce one at a time, but you already cleaned up. It's a real cleansing process. And then you reintroduce the food, and you will be totally aware of, oh my God, I didn't know that I had a reaction to garbanzo beans, or that chicken was not good for me, but turkey and red meat, I don't have a problem. Like when you reintroduce your food, you realize what's not good for you. Then you keep these food at bay for a little bit, and you check out what happens to your system. And then it's up to you what you do, but it's try to relax, rest your system, your digestive system, and allow your body to clean up in the course of 21 days. Did I describe that accurately?
Yeah, that was awesome. I just get really excited about them and think like, I don't know, they are incredible products.
I think so too.
Yeah, so I just was like, you have to talk about them.
I know. I'm always afraid at some point a 21-day reset will just disappear because it's not as sexy as the other programs, but they're so good. I hope that just because it works, that the word of mouth will continue. And it's a much more challenging program for most people, which shocked me, because, you know, we have people that are hooked to exercise. Like literally you take their exercise away and they collapse. So when I tell them I really don't want any, like they had a version, it's called like, they had a way of doing, I didn't know that was happening, where people were doing a version where they could add some kind of workout in it. And I was like, oh, I can't accept it because it's so much more thorough. What's happening internally, you don't realize, but it's a big job, and your body really needs all the energy it has in order to accomplish that well. It's like doing the 90-day, like P90X, but you know what? I'll skip the last 3 exercise and I'll do the diet just 3 days, and then the rest of the days I'll eat the way I want. Nobody does that. But everybody wanted to tweak and change it to 21-day reset. And that was a huge awakening moment for me. And I was like, wow, I've really hit the boo-boo. Because nobody wanted to do it as is. It requires an ability to really go deep into yourself, really look at what is, and really let go of, again, my sub-desire with the 21-day reset through the food was to show the patterns that created the problem in the first place. So it takes all your little addiction away, all your little hooks, how you used to eat, what time you used to eat, what you used to eat. It takes it all away. It leaves you bare. And so all your emotion go, and then you want to badmouth the product, or you want to tweak it or change it because, you know, it's not that great anyway. It's because it freaks you out. You're scared of your mind. I mean, our toughest, you know, they do all the tough workouts and tough restrictive diet, no problem with punishment, but self-love in that way, holy cow, did I get pushed back on that one. But I refuse to budge. If you do it as is, it's powerful. You discovered yourself big time. You get your emotional challenges, what got you in weird places with your body to begin with, what I was talking about earlier. So you see how I come back to the same place. It's never frivolous what was created. It always have a real purpose of health. Once I get you there, you make your choices. But I just wanted as many products as I could. It's the same thing with our boosts. People don't seem to utilize them as much as Darren and I would think you would, because we love them. You know, if you want to withdraw from caffeine or you want to minimize caffeine, the energy boost is amazing for that. If you haven't eaten your veggies, if you've been on vacation, if you've been drinking too much, the green boost is amazing for that. Most people don't ever eat enough fiber, ever. They undermine their health so much with just the simple fact that they don't have enough fiber. So we have the fiber boost. These were 3 fundamentals to me that I felt, let me give them their own right to be their own formulators, so that according to what's happening in their week, they can add more of these things if needed. So all of that, all these products, the Ultimate line, it all has a real purpose there that hopefully is useful for you to empower you your way.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Thank you for asking.
Thank you, Isabel. I mean, I think bringing
You're
these
welcome.
things up, like even this old coach, we
No,
forget
good.
about all those amazing products that you made to fit a need, right? And that's what we
Mm,
get to help people do, is fill a need that they need help with. So
right. That's right. And Darren is even better than I. He doesn't have a kid, and he eats great, and he utilizes all that stuff like constantly. So we're always amazed that when I get Zoom calls and people say, oh, like, how do you use those boosts? When do you use your boosts? I'm like, whenever, however. They're good. They're veggies. They're fiber. They're a way to energize your body without tapping your adrenals, or excessive acidity, or not ended up at Starbucks where there's a lot more in there than you think that you may not want. I always wonder, to me, it's like, it's not about taking your coffee away. It's about, why is it that you get up in the morning and you don't have energy? Like, why is it that you can't figure out the way you eat to enable your lifestyle, whether you have 3 kids or 2 jobs, or what is it that's not happening, that your body is not getting, that you cannot function or think at all without coffee? That's the thing for me. Everything is about that. It's figuring out what is it that is a crutch that's taking away a healthy balance that you need to figure out, so that you don't need your coffee, but you choose to have it, which is very different. It's almost like drug addiction, right? And this need, you need it in order to fulfill something. So to me, it doesn't matter if it's drugs, sex, movies, muffins, or exercise. What is it that without it you freak out? Like, try to figure out where the lack is, where the imbalance is, and then look at your health and your lifestyle in terms of balance. Where am I missing? On a table or a chair, the 4, whatever it's called in English, the 4 legs. So there's 4 legs in a chair, right? Where's the missing leg here? If I'm off, figure out that missing leg. Figure out where the balance is lacking. So the boost for the energy, to me, is amazing, because people love their coffee. And I always say, I'm just curious. I take it away and you freak out on me. What's that about? Like, just figure that one out, and then you make a choice. You want to be like that. You want to need your coffee at all costs, otherwise you can't even think straight. Or you want to figure out a way to balance your diet and your way of handling your body, that you can still think and function quite well in the morning, and you love your coffee and you have it. It's very different, right? You want to be married to a person that you love. You don't want to need somebody in order to completely or make you happy. Otherwise, they're poor them. They're the cause of your misery or of your happiness. That's a heavy load to lift. So that's always a good way to look at life. For me, I don't want to need it. I want it based on a very conscious choice. So hopefully all these products are helping you to do that.
that was the perfect way to end the call.
No, thank you. Thank you so much for having me.
Yes.
I hope it helped. I hope it helped bring clarity.
So much. Thank you, Isabelle.
Thank you, guys. You're doing so great. We love you at the company. We honor every coach, every person who shows up for themselves like that, who puts himself on the line, the crazy people doing the ADD obsession, the new people that are curious and trying to figure out what's going on in their health and how they can be proactive about it. Like, we love you all. We thank you for trusting us, for showing up and pushing play.
Thank you so much. We love you guys.
Bye.
Take care.